Rust and dust and scars and scratches and dings and nicks, it's only proof that you've seen some shit in your life and you're hardened and you're tough and you're resilient and you've been through some difficult challenges in your life. Those things are amazing. Those are stories. Those are things that I have experienced in my life that make me who I am today. And they're not meant to remind us that we're human. They're there to remind us that we've lived. Man, I was working on a little project this afternoon. I found this metal grid thing that I'm going to put behind me and hang some things on. And I'm really trying to improve my podcast studio and make this a better look and feel. But as I was doing this, I couldn't help but think about the dust and the rust that was on the grid, the metal grid that I had found. And I'm going to show you that shortly in another podcast because it's going to be up on my wall and it's going to look good. But as I was digging through the trash, there was a bunch of debris and dust and rust all over this thing. And I brought it in and I've been scrubbing it. And I got some stuff at Ace Hardware to take the rust off and clean it up and make it look nice so that I could actually bring it in the house and use it as a backdrop and a very practical thing that I'm going to be using. But I couldn't help but think as I did that we tend to, in modern times, throw away things that are a little dusty, a little dirty, a little rusty. We think that they're no longer useful. We just tend to buy things on Amazon, cheap replacements for what was. And as you guys have heard, they don't build them like they used to. And this is a really quality piece of metal. Somebody welded it. Somebody took time to put it together. And I'm not sure what it was used for, but I'm going to use it. And as I was thinking about this, it dawned on me that we as men often feel the same way, that we have so much dust and rust based on the years of struggle and toil and hardship and work and being beat up and banged up. And then eventually it seems like we're easily discarded, whether other people do that to us, romantic relationships, friends, colleagues, coworkers, employers, society in general just tosses men aside when they're no longer useful. And sometimes we do it to ourselves and we believe that we're no longer useful just because we're banged up and beat up a little bit. I want to share with you some thoughts that I had about that. 5 things in particular as to why the dust and the rust that you guys might be experiencing in your life doesn't define you. And despite the scars and the wounds and the rust and the wear and tear on your body, you aren't defined by that. You still have practical use. You still are a man. You still are valued and treasured by the people who recognize hard work and diligence and quality craftsmanship. You don't need to be thrown away. And for those of you who are dealing with some of this, because in the month of November, we are talking about men's health awareness, mental and physical health, I thought this would be timely to address. So let's break this down. Number 1, you are not defined by what clings to you. All right. That rust is going to come to you. That dust is going to sit on you if you've been put up on the shelf. You're going to get scarred. You're going to get banged up. You're going to get beat up. But at your core, there's something deeper. As they say, with a good old house, it has good bones. It might just need a cosmetic uplift. It might need to adjust. It might need to get with the times a little bit, but good bones, guys. And that's what you have. You've been through hardship. You've been through challenge. You've been through divorces and setbacks and bankruptcies and lawsuits and car accidents and heaven forbid, but maybe you've lost loved ones. And throughout your life, whether you've been here for 2 decades or for 8 decades, you're still useful. You have good bones. You have good structure. There's weight to what you're doing. There's weight to who you are. There's wisdom in all of those years of just being brutally beat up and banged up and put to work and all the effort that you've exerted. And I want you to know that you aren't defined by what clings to you. That rust, that's not defining you. I've got a 76 International Scout right now that's being restored, and it's about, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks out before I get that thing back. And there was so much rust. Some of those panels needed to be replaced. Some things needed to be fixed. Some things needed to be upgraded. Some things stayed where they are, but we just cleaned them up a little bit. And it's going to be an incredible piece of machinery. The bones were good. The plans were good. The engine is good. And we're just going to clean it up, give it a little facelift, and that thing's going to be an incredible order man vehicle. And that's you. You can be an incredible vehicle if you decide to knock off the dust, knock off the rust, and do what you need to do to get back on your feet. Number 2, rust only forms on what sits still. Guys, this thing was out in the yard, a neighbor's yard, in a big pile of debris and trash and rubbish. The only reason that rust was there is because it's been sitting out there in the elements. It's been sitting out there docile. It's been sitting there not doing anything. And I'm going to bring it back to life. I'm going to give that little piece of metal fabricated into a certain shape life. I'm going to give it a purpose. And men, you have a purpose. But so many of you are sitting still. You're letting your wife run roughshod all over you. You're letting your boss dictate what you do in life. You're letting society tell you what it means to be a man. And while you're sitting there docile, all the dust and the nonsense and the filth and the paint job that you have is oxidizing, and it's just turning into rust, and it's rotting, it's eating. It's literally eating you alive because you're being docile, because you're sitting around doing nothing. Guys, what the hell are you doing? Go out and do something. Ask that woman on a date. Go start that business. Go pour into your current career to the nth degree. You are meant to perform. You are meant for something powerful and something good and to be productive. And all you guys are sitting around, not all of you guys, a lot of you guys are sitting around binge watching Netflix, Yellowstone maybe, wishing you could be like Rip. Sitting around playing video games, Call of Duty or Fortnite, thinking, man, I wish I was as cool as these guys are. Sitting around listening to this podcast, and I appreciate you listening, while you should actually be out there starting your own podcast or being your own man or leading the way that you feel inspired to lead because you listen to me or somebody else that I've had on the podcast. And you're living your life perpetually through other people. You're watching the college football program or professional sports. You're wearing a jersey literally with another man's name on your back. And I'm all for having an outlet and entertaining yourself. My girlfriend and I went to a NHL game last weekend. It was amazing. It was fun. But I'd never wear one of those guys' names on my back. The only name that's going to go on my back is Michler. Not you, not one of those players, not one of my guests, not some hero, Jesus maybe, but me and Jesus. That's the only name I'm ever going to wear. Why do you wear other men's shirts on your back? Why do you proudly profess how great they are, but you're not willing to do the work to make yourself great? You're sitting still, you're being docile, and you shouldn't, and that's where the rust forms. Number 3, guys, we can wipe away what no longer serves us. You know, no man is too far gone to be restored. I've got that little grid that I was talking about earlier, and I sprayed some rust stuff on it and wiped it off, and it looks good as new. But somebody threw that away. Somebody discarded that, maybe because they no longer needed it or it no longer served the purpose, but it served a purpose for me. And so I sprayed that stuff on there, I wiped it down, and it looks beautiful. Somebody built that. There was another man who welded that together, who had a purpose, a design for that thing. It was probably useful for a time, but I found it useful for me right now. And that's you. You are not too far gone to wipe that dust off. You're not too far gone to remove the rust. You're not too far gone to strip away the layers that are no longer serving you or anyone else. And so you have to ask yourself, what is it that I need to remove in order to be productive and a value add, an asset in other people's lives? Maybe it's addiction. Maybe it's bad behavior. Maybe you owe somebody an apology. Maybe you can just send somebody a message and tell them that you're thinking about them. You know, I did that today. I sent my oldest son a message and I told him how proud I was of him. It was unsolicited, but I told him I loved him. I told him how proud of him that I am. I told him about the characteristics that he has and he possesses that I think are going to serve him well. I encouraged him. I uplifted him. I decided to move and take action and wipe away. I even acknowledged some of the ways that I struggle as a father. I'm going to strip away everything that doesn't serve me, and I'm going to only lean into the things that do. And ask yourself, what are you clinging onto, or what is clinging onto you that is no longer serving you? Is it alcohol abuse? That's what it was for me for years. Is it a bad attitude? Is it the attitude of being a victim or blaming it on everybody else? Those are the things you need to get rid of. Get rid of that shit. Tear that stuff away. Strip that stuff away and let what is truly meant to be reveal itself. Number 4, rust and dust and scars and scratches and dings and nicks. It's only proof that you've seen some shit in your life. That's it. It's only proof that you've seen some really difficult things. And you're hardened, and you're tough, and you're resilient, and you've been through some difficult challenges in your life. I've got scars all over my body, nothing severe, fortunately, but I've got a scar here on my arm. I've got one here on my lip. I've got one here on my head. I've got a big scar on my shin. I've got one just above my knee. I've got a little gimp sometimes because certain parts of me are sore and beat up and banged up because of my days in sports and manual labor. That's good. Those things are amazing. Those are stories. Those are things that I have experienced in my life that make me who I am today. And they're not meant to remind us that we're human. They're there to remind us that we've lived and that we have been through challenge and adversity and hardship. And I had a mentor early on that said, your mess is your message. Your scars are your stories. The things that you've been through, embrace those things. Don't be ashamed or embarrassed about them. So you have a little rust. Good. It means you're old, which also means you're wise, hopefully. It means that you have something to share to other people that could benefit from the lessons that you've learned the hard way. Maybe they don't have to go through it. That's part of the reason that I started Order of Man. I don't want you guys to experience divorce. I don't want you guys to experience hardship. I don't want you to experience bankruptcies or lawsuits or accidents or injuries or physical ailments. I don't want that for you. I don't want your sons and daughters to experience that the way I did. And so I took my scars and I turned them into stories that might be more helpful for you. So what stories does your rust tell about you? What stories does the dust that you've collected over the years of living tell about you? What does that bum knee say about you? What does that surgery that you had say about what you've been through? What does the emotional baggage say about the challenges that you've endured? And how can you take that, instead of being so selfish about it, how can you take it and pour it into other people so they don't have to experience what you're experiencing? I love the rust. I've got a neighbor who has this old pickup truck. It's probably, I don't know, from the teens, 20s, somewhere in there, maybe 30s, maybe even 40s. I don't know. I'm not a vehicle guy, but he's got this truck, and it's this teal truck, and it was his grandfather's, and he restored this thing. It's a bit of a sleeper because he put this incredible engine inside of it, but he left the rust. He varnished over it, but he left the rust and the scars and the dings and the nicks. And I said, why did you do that instead of fully restoring it? He said, because I love the stories that they tell. I love the memories of me and my grandpa going around town, driving around in this truck. And I wanted to embrace and remember that. We ought to remember those as well. They're not there to be embarrassed of. They're there to embrace. And guys, the last thing I want to share with you is that somebody else's trash is another person's treasure. That little hunk of metal was out in the trash. And I'm not blaming anybody who threw it in there. I don't know why they threw it in there. They no longer needed it, obviously. But somebody else's trash is someone else's treasure. You might have been discarded by a woman. You might have been overlooked by other people. I get turned down for podcast guests literally every single day. I get overlooked. I'm a bit of an underdog in a lot of cases, as are you. People underestimate what I'm able to do, as they do with you. And you know what? That's okay. I've done that to other people. I've overlooked. I've underestimated. And what is somebody's trash is another person's treasure. I've had incredible guests on the podcast where so many people have overlooked what we're trying to do here and the mission we're trying to create. There's an infinite number of people who believe in the mission, who believe in what we're doing, who embrace the mission to restore and reclaim masculinity. And I'm not for everybody. And you're not for everybody. And just because you were discarded by that last woman, or discarded or overlooked by your last boss, or overlooked by the potential client that you may have had, doesn't mean you aren't valuable. It just means you weren't for them. And that's okay. We're not for everybody, but we are for the right people. Find your people. Think about who specifically you can serve, who you would add value to their lives. And if you can do that, then you can realize that you aren't just objectively a piece of shit or a piece of trash, but that you are valuable, that you have meaning, that you have significance, that you are important to certain people. You know, I go out and I get my ass beat every single day by the world. And then I come home and you know who wants to spend time with me? My youngest son. He just wants to sit on the couch with me. He doesn't care about the challenges I've been throughout the day. He doesn't care that other people may have declined or rejected me or what I'm doing. He doesn't care about any of that. What he cares about is spending time with me. And so we did that this morning. Before I got to work and before he got to his day, we spent some time watching YouTube shorts, doing nothing, literally nothing. And he just wanted to be close to me. One person's trash is another person's treasure. You are valued and important in the right people's lives. And I hope you acknowledge that. I hope you recognize that. I hope you see who you are important to and you pour into them just as much as they want to pour into you. Guys, your rust and your dust does not define you. And I know it feels like it at times. I know you have great ambitions. I know you have great desires. I know you want to make something of yourself. I know you want to serve people. I know that you want to make a dent in the world. I do too. But you are going to be overlooked. And you are going to be passed over. And people are going to judge you. And they're going to believe that you're not worth anything. Or they won't see the value in what you can provide. I know that. We all feel it. But you are to the right people when you find the right mission, when you do the right work, and you don't sit still, and you don't get sedated, and you don't allow yourself to collect trash and debris and dust and rust, but you put yourself to work. I have faith in you. I have faith in myself. It doesn't always go according to plan. It doesn't always work out the way that we want it to, but damn if it isn't supposed to work. Let me recap these things here. Number one, what clings to you is not who you are. Number two, rust only forms on what sits still. Number three, wipe away what no longer serves you because no man is too far gone to be restored. Number four, rust is proof that you've seen some shit. And number five, someone's trash is another person's treasure. Guys, I believe in you. I believe in me. We can do great things. Yeah, you're banged up. Yeah, you're sore and you're bruised and you're beat up and you're hurt and you're tired and you're exhausted and people don't appreciate you, but you have things to do and you matter to people, the right people. They will see you. You keep doing work and don't for a second believe that just because you have some dust or rust or scars that you aren't worth anything. You are. All right, guys, that's my message for you today. I hope it uplifts and edifies you as we roll into the weekend. Be productive this weekend. Don't you put another man's name on your back. You be proud of who you are. You make yourself into the kind of man that you're proud of, that your family and your loved ones are proud of. You can do it. I believe in you. I'm here to support you. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow. Make sure you stay connected with us and wipe that dust off and get to work. All right, guys. I'll be back next week for one of our interviews. Until then, go out there, take action, get rid of that dust and rust, and become the man you are meant to be.